Tarantino, I'm a dirty desperado. And I be out from dusk to dawn with a chick I look like summer high. Fuck her, then I leave her like a desperado. Then when I leave, I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Take a couple trips. Take a couple chips. Wait a couple strips. In a bottle, bitch. I just might take a couple risks. I just might take it.
Damn, sorry you find out. Oh, I had to make sure the volume was right. Bad boy for life. Oh, no.
Flight boss, bitch, you heard the jet was hollow. Like fucking Tarantino, I'm a dirty desperado. And I be out from dusk to dawn with a chick I look like summer high. Fuck her, then I leave her like a desperado. Then when I leave, I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Take a couple trips. Take a couple chips. Wait a couple strips. In a bottle, bitch. I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Ride with your bitch. Flying in the shit. Trying to get a grip. Ain't a bottle, bitch. Why you don't care to visit? I know you got your reasons, you don't wanna share your business. Fucking with you, girl, I might need a pair of clinics. Cause in the physical and spiritual, you parasitic. Yeah, I'm fit, you know I'm the shit. I'm fit, you know you ain't shit. We done never Bahamas with your Peter and Colada. Just a season for a diva, now you need a margarita, yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to get them jobs. Hope you ain't going through your period or menopause. When you be talking on the phone, put your menopause. Girl, you be giving so much head, need a dental job. You ain't my girlfriend, treat you like a rental bride. That's when I finally realized I had to rent a bride. Ain't that about a bitch? Everything happened by the bitch. That's what I get for thinking about a bitch. Now I'm by the bitch. I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Take a couple trips. Take a couple chips. Wait a couple strips. Ain't that about a bitch. I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Riding with your bitch. Flying in the shit. Trying to get a grip. Ain't that about a bitch. Or have a life. Yes, flex, baby, on another flight. You've been searching and just looking for a better life. I know you got some bigger problems than your cellar life. Girl, tell you I ain't being rude, babe. This ain't a corner, it ain't going up on Tuesday. If you come and get involved, treat my loving like a job. When it's time to go to work, why are you late? I ain't controlling, girl, I know you got your own mind. Look, when I met you, I done stumbled on a gold mine. I think I met you in the past like a soul tie. I wanna see what you've been practicing a long time. If we can sip on some Patron or some Hennessy. Notice some shit up in your phone that we didn't see. Girl, you got flex, send a video on your top flicks. Girl, don't you know I got chips? And when I look at you, I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Take a couple trips. Take a couple chips. Wait a couple strips. Ain't about it, bitch. I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Riding with your bitch. Flying in the ship. Trying to get a grip. Ain't about it. You'll never find another guy. The reason that we ain't together cause it wasn't time. Tell you freeze like police when I come behind. Switch your heads where I can see like a Busta Rhymes. Like a happy meal, bitch, I carry toys. I don't hang around cause I'm paranoid. But my whole mind changed when I think about some jobs. When I'm on a pussy mission, I ain't thinking about the law. When you call, I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Take a couple trips. Take a couple chips. Wait a couple strips. Ain't about it, bitch. I just might take a couple risks. I just might take a couple risks. Riding with your bitch. Flying in the shit. Trying to get a grip. Ain't about it, bitch.
Over that. Those are the 2000 New Year. The nod to 2000 Sugar Hill Gang. Over that. I'm the new hippity hop hip. You know what I'm saying? Over that. Over that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We gotta talk about some spiritual energy, circumstances, foundations, energy sectors, portals, stargates. Where your spirit at? You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Where you live at? Where you live? Some of y'all live in a hellhole. Not hellhole. Hellhole. You know what I'm saying? I'm somewhere deep, dark in the abyss, somewhere falling asleep, and I can't get up. I'm slipping. I'm falling. I can't get up. Down. Rest in peace, D. I'm Max. I'm slipping. I'm falling. I can't get up. I'm slipping. You know what I'm saying? Okay, they don't make music like that no more. These rappers don't make these rappers today is something like a rapper. You gotta be something like me now. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I'm the only new refresher. New thing would be the hippity hop freaks come out for flights. You know what I'm putting in there? Moon and Libra. You know what I'm saying? So with the moon being in Libra, what that mean? That mean we supposed to be reacting and responding to our creativity. Well, that's Pisces, but Libra deals with creativity too. You know, Venus is exalted in Pisces. It's on the masculine side of Libra, and it's on the feminine side of Taurus. So it got the same qualities. They just interact in different ways. Pisces might go too far in something that they love, appreciate, value, willing to compromise with. They compromise too much with it. They don't know how to do things in moderation. The same thing that they love turn into a bad habit. Same thing that they pleasure, same thing that destroys them or whatever. And sometimes it just be a dream. They be needing straight jackets straight out the womb or whatever the case may be. You know, Taurus be on the feminine side, or they got to receive it first. So the way they express it may be in a way that you think it ain't love due to the fact of it's not being expressed in a way that you thought Walt Disney taught us. But once they receive it or whatever, they got the quality for you to know what it means to be receiving love or whatever the case. So, you know, it might not always come in a word, might not always come in a pretty bow and tie, but, you know, it might come on time, just when you need it, when your bill might need paid or whatever. So, you know, that's the Taurus side. Then when it comes to the Libra side, that's the masculine, the external. They might tell you all the sweet things to make you sound like it's lovable and stuff like that, whatever. That don't mean Walt Disney taught us the right actions yet. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you seen it in the physical. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a whole bunch of dichotomies and filtering systems. The moon is in Libra. You might got a lot of these energies just because you a Libra, sun, moon, or ascendant. So this could be for you. This could be for all of us also. And this could be for how we know to prepare, whether you the square, opposition, and conjunction. It's life after the new moon. Wax on, wax off. Wax off is whining, whining. Somebody naming their kid right now, Wani, Juanita, Washahida. You know what I'm saying? Wanda. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so it is a comedian named that or something like that right now. She was born last night. No, whatever than that. Wakanda for Abba. So take a monkey ass back there. Get back on the boat. Back on the boat. We talking about the esoteric one right now. Right now, we floating where the moon at. We in between the bosom, the crevices, the crack, where the sun be at. When we're experiencing fall time and where PM be at and stuff like that. So it's that even day, even night when it comes to our emotional stance on things. So for the most part, it can be decisive when it comes to being indecisive. So you in charge force to try to look at both sides or both angles at something or whatever. So that's like a weird dichotomy within oneself that we may all be experiencing right now. You're decisive about being indecisive. You know you want to include everybody else's idea. You know what I'm saying? You know you ain't made up your own goddamn mind yet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know. You know what I'm saying? It's already that. So it's like an indecisive, it's like a decisive, indecisive energy. But for the most part, if we allow that to filter through what the sun is, because that the sun is like father, it's like what things, how it looks. So how Libra looks right now, even though it's the Libra energy, how it looks, aka how we supposed to go about it. Remember, every star don't align during these particular times. You may have a squared up energy, sun, moon, or ascendant in Sagittarius, Virgo, or Gemini. Your way of going about the Pisces energy and how you're going to, especially if you're a Gemini, you're already in tune with the Libra energy. You just have to do it more cardinal. You might be a little bit more mutable, but your mutability, right, is going to have you in some energy where you share the qualities of Pisces. And then for the most part, your way of going about it ain't water though. It's just a modality, trying to be mutable. But you trying to be mutable based upon your own and other people's thoughts and their way of thinking and how you going to communicate other than your own and other people's ways of feeling and the emotion of something that we could drive out something from and stuff. So that's how the Pisces energy play out. So that's where you may reach a fork in the road, esoterically speaking, in your esoteric spaceship, where you might meet your frustration or whatever the case, because it looked like something that you can do or can be a part of, or you got some information about, but your way of coming across may create misunderstandings, frustrations, or confusion, or you just feeling like you have to be quiet because this person just don't get it. They might be mentally ill. And a lot of y'all Geminis go through that every day for real. So y'all be having to like lighten up y'all selves just to deal with people every day, because y'all know people be mentally ill and stuff like that. So y'all be having to lower y'all mental level on their levels and stuff, and make people think y'all just as dumb as them. Yeah, I know Geminis. I know. I don't want to give all y'all secrets away. I know about y'all though. I know about y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how to play stupid real good, but ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's a deep, good quality that a lot of people don't know how to pull it off. With some Geminis, and they know how to use they dumbness when it's time to be used, when they was just playing dumb, and they know how to use their intelligence when it was time to be used. Do you know that they knew what was going on the whole time, and you was the fool? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to be careful. Watch the Gemini. Watch the Gemini. Oh, better than that. Oh, but you might have little frustrations during this particular time, so forth as other signs that I'm getting ready to break down too, and things of that nature. And then I'm breaking down everybody specific as we get ready to go on Scorpio too on the Patreon. But I'm generalizing things. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, due to the fact of you being square but you sharing the same quality as the moon during this particular time, here's how you are emotionally connected to something, the moon, that you feel like you interested in or you got the information about, that is going to look or appear like something that's square, something that frustrates you, Pisces energy, and you're going to think it's too much emotions or in it, or over exaggeration in it. If it ain't too much emotion, you may think it's too much over exaggeration in it, and you're trying to intellectually bring it down some type of way. And we might not be in a time where you get intellectually grounded or even find the right information to tweak it to have it right in your mind or wrap it around, because you know Geminis need that wrapped around a finger in their mind energy, or they're going to be all over the place when it comes into whatever they're directing their energy towards. If they can't get their mind wrapped around it, it's going to puzzle them or whatever. It's going to throw them off of other stuff and make them forgetful, lose stuff, lose their keys and purse, wallet, and stuff like that. Gemini's good for that too, but for the most part, you just got to know that when you're going about the Pisces energy at this time, you're dealing more with it's not going to be intellectual, or it's not going to be something that you could kind of pinpoint or get the information of, even if you're just looking at it based upon how y'all do it in other ways, based upon body language, facial expressions, and stuff like that. That might not be necessarily the right idea in your mind, whatever you get ready to make a decision, whether it's positive or negative, depending on who you're dealing with as far as people. You know how that gift may work last week or whatever. If you don't know about these type of energies, that's what I'm telling you. Don't go too far into that where you were sure about something last month or last week. It may not be like that this week for you Geminis, because the sun is in Pisces, and you could straight up be wrong, but have that convention Gemini mind like you right, and end up being on the wrong side of the energy. And don't nobody like to be on the side of the energy when a situation happens. Then the outcome, you got to have people around you saying, "I told you so." Man, everybody hate that, man. Especially somebody getting out the halfway house right now. Nobody like being in that, because your spirit already be in a situation where another spirit put your spirit onto something where you were supposed to take that spiritual responsibility to already know that, but you didn't cover yourself up in a bunch of dirty cloths or whatever the case. This goes for all signs. So then for the most part, you start to be like, dang, somebody else realized that for me, that I've been knew that I was just pondering or procrastinating, whatever that is mentally. It don't even be really rooted in physical all the time. And then for the most part, it play out physically and in the mind as you constantly doing that, just to try to, you be knowing you wrong in the spiritual world, but you'll still be trying to prove somebody wrong or whatever, just because your spirit is in resistant mode, because that spirit awoken you to something that you knew you were supposed to be awoken to. Everybody's supposed to take their own spiritual responsibility. And when we be lying to ourselves, even when we are fools and don't know, when a spirit come around and know something, we know that we were supposed to know something. That's still a knowing. We feel left by, so we like, oh no, but I still know this, whatever this get ready to look like getting proved wrong. No. And now you in that energy of, God, if I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. You know what I'm saying? My grandma's in that energy. Grandma, are you okay? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when we get into these energy, and everybody, the moon gonna get ready to go in Scorpio too. Everybody gonna have that Nelly face. Get your head right. What is it do? You know, it's Mars signs. You know, we kind of know that we feeling like we those sexualities on our minds and stuff like that. So I already knew what was on this cat mind. We was saying, like, you probably tongue kissing, yeah. This guy just tried to do something like tongue kissing, yeah. I just got to be silly. Like, They'll make videos like they make them no more, stuff like that. Those videos be trash now. Somebody sitting around thinking right now that, oh, my video cold, 100% AI. Man, wait a minute, man. Do something creative though. Be like 50-50 or like 75-30%, whatever, like something like that when it comes to real and AI. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all cats go too far. They go too far. Go too far. But yeah, like I said though, you know what I'm saying, with the moon being in Libra, it's making us all react. That's the world we in. So we all, and like I said, we all may not be able to react sufficiently due to the fact that whatever sun, moon, or ascendant you is when it comes into the moon being a Libra. So that'll be the square signs in the opposition to Libra. That'll be Aries, Capricorn, and Cancer. So for the most part, y'all will be including myself. I'm an Aries. We'll be Aries sun sign. We'll be in situations of and for people who don't know, sun sign is just basically just your zodiac the day you was born. The moon, a person have to say your moon sign up to explain that your ascendant for anybody who knew. But for the most part, yeah, we might be reacting and responding to something that we may know or we can help someone feel more comfortable with, but our way of going about it may be too much or whatever, maybe overbearing, and we may get the wrong reaction or a misunderstanding of how we was actually coming across with that cardinal energy from the emotional space, because our actions, the way we seen, we appear to be the energy of where the moon is at, but we a different element, or however the case. So for the most part, we're going to be trying to lead in some emotion or try to feel like we need to take charge and get rid of emotion, that get rid of a mutable or get rid of a fix or change the fix up to be more mutable so we could get more in that cardinal space, right? And that's what we're going to be all doing with the emotion if you're a cardinal sign, including Libra. But for the most part, you may have issues expressing it or getting the right reaction or response if you ain't know what's going, if you don't know that this was going on, if you are the Aries, Cancer, or the Capricorn, you know what I'm saying? So you have to keep that in mind too. And Aries, you the opposite. So for the most part, the way you may express the charge for the emotion may be the, or it could be the something that with his need, and vice versa. Or it could be a head-on tug-of-war match. And then when it comes into Cancer, or y'all opposites, y'all are square. So y'all could create frustrations when it become trying to gain emotional connection, when it trying to be relatable, or how you deal with your relationships. Cancers, you may come across too moody and get the wrong idea or don't read the room right based upon your mood. And Capricorns, you might not read the room right based upon something not appearing to be stable or something not appearing to be structured or in order. And you probably got a lot of things that you got going on in your life. And if you a Capricorn, when things are out of order in your life, that's the worst time in your life. You're paying more attention, pardon me, you're paying more attention to that than anybody else and their issues and things, especially if it's people who need your assistance and stuff like that. If your stuff is out of order, you're more in a feeling like an embarrassment state than another sign. Every sign got their space that they in, that they feel more embarrassed than other signs. You know what I'm saying? A Leo may not feel as embarrassed as a Capricorn when things are not in order or whatever the case may be. But a Capricorn may not be as embarrassed as a Leo when it comes into maybe something dealing with their appearance or their appearance that are expressing not being respected in some type of way. Where the Capricorn might not care if they wearing some sweater that their grandmother gave them 8 Christmases ago or things of that nature. If money on their mind at the moment or things is out of order or whatever, or even if things in order and they know they can buy it, that ain't the main interest at the moment. You see what I'm saying? Everybody got their like different way of going about how they being embarrassed or whatever, or what they cling to, that another sign will be in the same position but don't react and respond that same way or don't feel about it the same way or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of times y'all have those family, friends, associates, and coworkers, those type of conversations where a person might just be like, how you feel about that or whatever. You kind of didn't really know how to react to their full expression of, you could kind of think in your mind the space that they in for them to invest that much emotion around it and thought around it and things of that nature. And that's when y'all reach those clashes where it ain't as serious or petty to have a conversation like what I'm having to put into them type of conversations. But now you know what's actually going on or whatever. That person is experiencing something based upon their sign and their means of what they think makes them feel safe and comfortable or embarrassed. And that's very different from yours. So it'll be something that you see them reacting to based upon their conversation and their facial expressions and their way of expression of it, and you'll be looking at it like, well, I don't take it that serious or whatever. Or and then vice versa. You had a lot of those situations also, and then you was trying to figure out why wasn't other people taking it as serious or whatever the case, based upon whatever personal investment you had into that circumstance. So you just got to know a lot of times once you understand these things, what they is, because we ain't got no words or no school for these things. You know how to go about things before you start to take things too personal, because our first body is our mind. So a lot of times it's hard to decipher because the mind mimics the soul, your individual spirit. So for your solo spirit. So a lot of times you get confused and think you are the mind. And then your first bias, you don't know how to equilibrium it the right way. So you'll be taking slightly things personal where it shouldn't be taken personal. And it be truly off a person's own volition and how they just see things. And it just might be in a pocket based upon some space you created a form in, a mental form, and it may just be in odds at it or whatever. That's not to say that mind state that you're involved in inside of as a spaceship and your spirit is inside of it experiencing it. That's not to say that person is against you in some way, because that form is truly not you. It's just your creation. These are creations. You are the creator, not the creation. You know what I'm saying? But when you get too lost in your mind before it's even a physical situation and we're connecting in the mind and stuff like that, you could take things personal in a way where we have no choice but to be in our personal bias. But if we don't decipher our true equilibrium the right way, we'll be taking things personal that we necessarily shouldn't take personal, and then be building secret animosities amongst individuals. And then a lot of times this would be playing out at the work job. And a lot of y'all went through that a lot of times where you will clock out and then talk to your friends or whatever the case may be, and automatically prejudge someone don't like you, or you start prejudging you don't like someone. And then eventually y'all start manifesting that situation down the line. Y'all start playing that role where it might not have played out yet, but it always lead up. It'd be those small situations where it might be certain conversations you slight people out of, and vice versa or whatever. Then all these type of situations lead up into y'all actually play out a circumstance of not liking each other. But it really truly was awesome. A lot of times y'all come to conclusions too where it has to be something that have already happened and is already said and done for both parties to look back at the situation and was looking like, man, that was about nothing. That wasn't even about nothing, or whatever the case may be. But once you understand that, now you know how to play out certain humanistic, and this is spirituality for the hood. Now you know how to play out certain situations where it may always allow a person to show you that allows you to be in the righteous side of energy when it comes for God to have your back, the universe. That means anything you do is justified, even if it comes time to fight with fire. Right? But it gives you time to be what they call that, not naive, but to be what they call that when a female is a virgin and she before she lose it, what's that word? Your essence, not your essence, but your damn, what's that word? I know I ain't got my chat on. But leave your innocence. Yeah, your innocence. I don't know how I forget that because living on this soil, innocence is a word that's very forgetful after a while when it comes to catching cases, when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, everything is, you know what I'm saying. But you stay in that space where you kind of like have your innocence, no matter if you even involved in bank robbing. You have your innocence to if your friend taking advantage of you, taking more money or whatever the case may be, and then you allow a person to actually show you. So then your innocence, those situations you was having, even if you was onto it a little bit, it adds more energy to when it is time to express, and a person actually showed you. So then there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It's justified or whatever. But sometimes y'all jump the gun, and then a lot of times you be wrong, and then you be on the negative side of energy. And then if you don't check yourself, you'll realize it's like the same day, different, same shit, different day, same shit type of quality. You're carrying around some type of spiritual stench where, yeah, you think that situation just played out with that person, but the way you're acting is getting ready to play out in all circumstances in any other person, place, or thing. I mean, any other person that's a friend family, associate, or coworker, or whatever. You get ready to create the same type of situation you just did with that person with another person. Relationships could start good, very different and stuff like that, but somehow they always start leading to the same way that you just had all these discussions with these new people about the person you ain't friends with no more because of the very same reasons or whatever. And a lot of y'all be in those situations. Y'all sit there, be like, I have a favorite family member or a favorite friend or whatever, and then start getting taken advantage of. Then find another friend that y'all know or another family member and stuff, but you jump the gun too fast. You in safe hands in their mind or whatever the case may be, and then end up playing out the same situation that you was just talking to all them about, yeah, this is why I don't mess with this person no more in the family or friends or whatever. This is why I don't do this no more or whatever. Now all you get ready to do is start piling up. Is get that family or friend get ready to be in the same situation, then the next one, and you just get ready to go have to find like coworkers and start making them like in your mind, oh, these my family, these my friends or whatever like that. Because then eventually it's gonna start playing out with that too. You know what I'm saying? You're just a person that just a damaged person in some way, shape, or form. You don't know how to carry your relationships. And Libra is teaching everybody that right now. So when it comes to your relationships itself, it wants you to be a little bit more creative, but understand people's feelings. Learn how to see the mutable, then water, feelings and emotions. So depending on your sign, you may not be invested in this, or this might not be things that you normally care about. So it's going to create minor frustrations, or you're going to be coming up with things that make sense in your mind that's totally opposite from that energy or indifferent from that energy that still may create a funky situation or scenario. So even when it's hard for certain signs, when it's not aligning, it's important to know these things because you know mistakes that you may get ready to make, or you know when you get ready to get involved into a situation and you may be on the short end of the stick, or you might be in a situation where normally you probably could just been a witness, or and now you have to end up being on the victim end or whatever the case may be, and be on CNN or Fox or something like that, or CSI channel or something. So you got to be careful, not knowing what's going on and things like, for example, I'm an Aries, right? Or whatever y'all want to call it, a hawk, whatever, right? But for the most part, or the Falcon. But if you want to say the moon is in Raven or Libra or whatever, I know that my energy is automatically opposite. So even if I'm trying to be a nice person, let's say this is what nice people don't understand. So they get that taken advantage of energy, or whatever the case may be, or be like, why me? A lot of times it's because what you're allowing to happen is because here's the thing, right? Even if you're doing something good, if the stars don't align, it might be an energy that's opposite. The moon is in the opposite sign of Aries. I'm making this as an example. So let's say as I'm a nice person, my nice and kindness is still going to be received opposite from what I think in my mind. I might be thinking I'm doing something good and a person should receive it good. I might set myself up to get taken advantage of. I might set myself up to be let down. I might set myself up to have to look at the rest of the day like, man, this world ain't shit type energy or whatever, because I just did this for this person and they ain't appreciate it, or dang, you see what I'm saying? Or dang, this person ain't even needed, or dang, I was trying to be nice, or dang, I tried to let this person over and they flicked me off on the road. It can be anything in that nature. But if you kind of know these qualities, you put an energy beforehand of a thing that'll make you extremely react, that possibly could take you down a train of thought or line of reasoning to actions of doing something negative or breaking the law, however the case may be. So you always got external that's still internal mind frame to hold on to that always could keep you in check, and that has you closer to God. That's how you be closer to God. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't what we think, it's how we think. And for the most part, you'll start realizing that's better ways of thinking. And even if something ain't around you, you know that's a thing that's in existence. Because you know if a deer thought like a human and had the human consciousness when it's in front of a car with headlights, then for the most part, it won't do what the average deer do. So even if a deer learned that and there never was a human around, a human was in a similar situation with the human mind and figured that out and didn't have to go through, actually made the car and the headlights and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, we all go through similar situations, whether we're around each other or not. And based on each situation, that's the what. But how is based off, is you going to survive or not, or be intelligent in that circumstance or not, or whatever the case may be. So you don't need to be around a deer, and a deer don't need to be around you. So flip that to God. You don't need to be around God or see God or hear God, and goddamn God don't need to come to you. Like, you special. You ain't special. You just need to know you're going through similar circumstances. You a spirit with a mind and a body. So you a soul, individual spirit with a mind, individual time, and a body. Something went through the same situation than you, and you better know it was colder ways to think and how to do it. You gotta know it. You go to somebody right now and play Grand Theft Auto or play goddamn Tekken or something like that and whoop your ass online right now. So somebody thought better than you in that game. You never knew them till you got online, though. You never got spanking like that. No matter who you get, pick Waning. I'm saying, no matter who you pick. I'm saying Lee. Lay Oolong, or I'm saying, no matter who you pick, you ain't never got no speed. You ain't never knew that person exists. They thought a certain way to push the exit. I'm saying, to get a DLC, certain trick, a code, or something like that. You thought it was just all off the volition. This guy's got a cheat code, push square 2 times and do all the special moves. No, I'm saying. Y'all gotta watch that. Cats on live be cheating. Y'all be playing cats from Venice. No, playing cats from East Indian Man and stuff. Yeah, I start playing cats like East Indian Man and Arabian Man and stuff. Like, these cats got all the cheat codes. These cats be making like new Superman controllers and stuff, like controllers y'all ain't never seen. Controllers ain't even in the USA yet. You can't get it from no Radio Shack, no Game Shop, nothing. They gotta push one button and do all the power codes. And I said, do all the power moves and stuff like that. You don't know what you facing. That's what I'm saying. I got to chill out. Y'all be like trying to bet on these things. Don't be betting on no Street Fighter, no Tekken online and stuff like that. You lose all your money. Lose your mind, lose your money. You know what I'm saying? Lose your mind, lose your money. Right over that. Play for free. Play for free. Yay. I'm saying, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure your mind right. So it's all about that first. But yeah, you got to be around you. So you ain't special. You know, just like you as a human. Think about yourself. Y'all all want to be God, goddesses, God bodies, right? You probably thinking right now, you ain't got to be around a deer. You thinking right now, yeah, I ain't got to be around no deer. They in front of a car, the headlights. Matter of fact, don't be in front of mine. Hopefully, I ain't got my pickup truck today. You know what I'm saying? You probably thinking that right now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all humans ain't really go down to the bare knuckle Street Fighter common sense of things. Man, you humans ain't about nothing. No, that. Y'all don't be thinking about stuff the way I think about it, God's children and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Think about things differently. Like, did that human think about that? I don't think that human think about that. I don't think they can go to the bank and cash that. You know what I'm saying? Can they take that to the bank and cash that? I don't know about. You know what I'm saying? We be thinking real good. With esoteric currency, we talk about like, get rich now. Get rich or fly trying. Real stuff. We talk about the esoteric world. We talk about the esoteric world. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you're right. But when the moon being in Libra, it's going to look like Pisces. So as we reacting and responding to relationships or relating to others. So you got the internal version of something and the external version of something. So not only do Libra deal with the external version, relationships, it deals with the internal version, how we relate. And a lot of times we don't be learning how to conduct that also. So this is a time for us to all check ourselves. Yeah, how do I relate? Looking at esoteric mirror, like, how do I relate? Did I really sit and pay attention to that? Or I'm just in my ego and I'm living day to day, week to week, trying to convince someone how I think, or trying to convince somebody how, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? I gotta check some. And a lot of times when y'all don't do that, that's self-checking too. That's spiritual self-checking. A lot of y'all be looking crazy, and you ain't got to look crazy if you go ahead and look in your esoteric mirror and stuff and be like, oh, okay, this way of acting, I move my elbow a certain way that somebody might think I'm retarded or something. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, because you don't know what people be thinking. A lot of y'all be going to y'all workplaces, y'all schools, y'all colleges or something like that, and you start getting that weird vibe of like you catch a small pattern. It ain't played out so physically yet, but it's like minor physics, right? And body language physics. You start catching that vibe. Do this person look down on me? Like, you start feeling that vibe, like, do this person think I'm slow or something? Like, you start, I know y'all catch that too, like certain words, it'd be certain ways or certain, like how a person say certain things. You know, you catch it, your eardrum catch it. You be like, wait a minute, they only said it that way. It's only and you be having to sit back. You be like, look, wait till I go to school tomorrow. Wait till I go to work tomorrow. Let me see how they talk to someone else with a similar type of conversation. Let them peep games. Let me see what word they use. You know what I'm saying? You be getting deep. You like, wait a minute, yeah, it's so personal. Y'all got to think. Go back to the earlier part of this live stream, though, so you don't go prejudge too much. But sometimes y'all be right. Sometimes y'all be right. You pick up that vibe, and so you got to check people sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, So that's how you spiritually check yourself, how you relate sometimes. Sometimes you got to be like, oh, that's something I wasn't paying attention to. And I may have picked that up way back about 19 years ago when grandma slapped me upside my head, you know what I'm saying, before we went to church or something like that, because I kept stealing candy out of her purse or whatever. Whatever y'all situations is or whatever. And it's something so small, you don't think it play out in your body language, your mind frames and today and stuff like that. And then a lot of times you have to go through a lot of situations. Some of y'all not as many as others, and the sooner the better to get out of it, to realize it. Because it'll be one person, two persons, three persons, one situation, two situations, and you'll be like, wait, there's a pattern. This person see me this way, that person see me this way. There's a pattern. This situation and outcome happened that way. This situation and outcome happened something like, and then you'll start catching it and stuff like that. You'll be like, oh man, I got that trauma back when I was getting roasted with a hole in my sock back in the night. However y'all situations is, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had that problem. But however y'all situations is, you know what I'm saying? And when you know how to self-govern, self-check, man, it's a beautiful thing. Because God starts showing you some stuff. And God ain't got to be around. But you know that, oh, this is how you be around other spirits in the spirit world. Because your first body and how far you're able to travel. Then go back to your home so you don't go too far and stuff like that. Because you still got to be in that pocket that you made your current organs with and stuff like that. Because you'll just transition. You go too far off in the mind, that's almost like sleepwalking, and you might as well be a deer in front of headlights and stuff like that. Because you know what I'm saying? Your goddamn baby mama can't scream and stuff like that, like it's the cookies done or whatever. You in the middle of the street sleepwalking and stuff. How fat and all. And K2. Other than that. I'm saying I'll be out of all this stuff, but yeah. So keep that in mind. But for the most part, just dealing with those energies and stuff. That's like if you just drift off too much, and then that could be a lot of y'all don't even be close to God. Y'all be in an unsynced, unrelatable thought. So you be so far off, it don't be nothing that you can express anyway that's creative or a new idea or whatever. So you rather be there for long periods of time and carve out the time that you physically have to interact with people. So you already daydreaming, even if you like a well-oiled running machine. You kind of like Tupac's dad in Juice. He had to go slide the $20 in there. This guy, because he was watching James Brown or something like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever Tupac dad. Shout out to Tupac's dad and Juice. That's a piece of Tupac. Whatever he was watching the stuff that he was froze. You know what I'm saying? He must have just got out the military or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They should have made like a prequel to Juice, but Tupac's father was like one of the dudes in Dead Presidents. So I'm saying Lorenz Tate, Lorenz Tate. You know, other than that. That was Tupac's dad earlier days in Juice. Dead Prez movie. Everybody goes psycho and stuff when they get in the military. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with y'all. But for the most part, yay. If you take your relativity, your relatability, your in sync energy, and initiate that as far as trying to create some fairness in that area, right? And try to see where you may be opposite or maybe misunderstood, and filter that through some form of mutable water. And that could be forms of creativity, because mutable water represents being mutable, being able to adapt to your own or other people's ways of dealing with the emotions and feelings. That's Pisces. That's where the sun is at. Pardon me, y'all. So for the most part, that's how we have to make Libra. That's how Libra look. That's how we have to make Libra look. Libra is the moon we in. It's the mood we in. It's the moon sign. So it's the internal energy. So it's going to be the highest potential of how we reach our comfort zone at the moment. But how we go about it may be misunderstood, and based upon your own alignment, trying to go about it and the alignment we all got going on, it could be a big old confusion, because these signs are even in conjunction at a 150-degree angle. If you was to go ahead and make a point on the ground or somewhere and then draw out the line between where the sun at and moon at, and be your own astronomer or whatever the case may be, so you don't have to be saying certain things as pseudo, and why the energetic forces can be described by somebody who did the dirty work for you, mentally speaking. You know what I'm saying? And then conjunction creates misunderstandings, frustrations, right? So think about you having to see something cat-cornered, or you wanting to see something but it's not straight ahead. It's just off. Straight ahead is 180 degree. You know what I'm saying? So when it's just off, right, you reach 170 degree, 160 degree, 150 degree. So it's something just off. This is how a lot of y'all get in car accidents and stuff like that. That's how the energy emanate in reality. But right now, when we start to see that, we give a hope, we give something that's greater than us, like the sun and moon. If it's in that alignment, then if everything condensed like the light rays, the clouds, and us from that, then that's where that essence come from. So all of those type of that light spectrum of an in conjunction, all of those manifestations of how parasites, bugs, animals, y'all humans, and that most DAPs interact with that their own alignments. So you could be mentally in your first body in some type of misunderstanding with someone where y'all don't got it straight to have it as a fair and balance, or to see if it's a head-on collision where you know your enemy and it ain't a friend type quality. You know what I'm saying? It's a misunderstanding. Oh, it might be this. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? It's how a lot of y'all make accidents, head-on collisions or accidents when it comes into y'all spaceship in the mind and shit like that. And y'all get into mental spaceship crashes. You know what I'm saying? There was a misunderstanding. Had to be some straightening. Shout out to the Migos. Rest in peace. Take off. You know what I'm saying? But it had to be some straightening or whatever the case. Line it out. Square out the circle. Things was coming too indirect. So you got blindsided. So that's how the in conjunction. So we see that alignment in the sky. It only makes sense. Now the average individual might be like, no, this only happens on Earth. But yet, clouds rain on you and you ain't make the clouds. So we see that alignment in the sky before we see that alignment on Earth. It takes an intelligent human, animal, bug, or parasite to decipher the same mechanism, just playing out through different forms of biases. You have the 1, 2, and 3rd dimensional bias and the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. That's the accident. And physically, like the car I just explained. Mentally, the spaceship crash I just explained in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. And that comes from your micro version of the macro version, the sun and moon alignments and the pockets to be in or whatever. Then we have the essence that spring from to give birth to that form of existence in the first place. Just like you can't have left without the right. Once we start to take a cycle of things, we start to get the precisions. You know what I'm saying? Of each second, a minute, or whatever the case may be, to have different angles. So that'd be us creating that essence in the first place from the 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension. Our spirit, each individual spirit or soul, then we give birth to something. Then that birth be the mind state, and then it start to create those different angles when we interact with each other. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. The mental world, right? That we're calling the spiritual world, but it's really the mental world that the spiritual world created. Spiritual world birth, 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension, most expanded. Then you created our first body. Your own mind, teamwork makes the dream work. All of our minds together, swimming together. That's the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. Life. We gave life with thought and feeling. Thoughts becoming feelings. So that's awareness. And then that condensed and become fleshly fluids. Death. 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. The most condensed, rooted, slow vibrational moving form of the object that we created from the mind. So that's birth, life, death. Spirit, mind, body. Space, time, matter. 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension. 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you look at dimensions so you don't get lost. Because we're making the physical representations of dimensions anyway. 1080, 720. You know what I'm saying? It's the same type of circumstance. So when you was playing video games in 2D and then you start playing video games in 3D. So when you think about one dimension, we're talking about a point. When we're talking about 2 dimension, we're talking about a point leading to another point. And when we talk about 3rd dimension, both of those points made a circumference. So for the most part, you got 1 point, 1 dimension, individuality. 1 point leading to another point, dualistic energy, and that'd be relatability or 2nd dimension or whatever. Then when 1 dimension, individuality, relate to 2nd dimension, relating that individuality to something similar that's an individual, whether it's an object or whatever or case may be, that's relatability. So individuality, relatability creates circumference. That default creates 3rd dimension. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, we're creating that, and as we're creating space and creating the forms in it, like the honeysuckle thing I call it, and then it start to get gushy, and then that sweet, that gushy stuff, don't give it to me, and that's what y'all say, like that Philly song with Skeena on them that the Jay-Z stole. That was a Jay-Z song. Y'all don't know about the intricates and stuff like that. Shout out to Jay-Z and stuff. Y'all don't know about the common sage. I think he a Libra moon, so he got to understand these energies too and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, we break things down. We like creators. We be floating around spaceships and stuff. But there's a lot of y'all being hellholes, not hellhole, not yellow hoop. somewhere in the world I created in the hellhole in the world. You know what I'm saying? But y'all gotta get up out of it. But like I said, right? As long as, and this is how you reach the maximum benefits of the energies, right? Sometimes you have to try the best you can. If you know your own energies, you know that there are gonna be frustrations you meet or you get met with. Don't take it as extreme as if you didn't know these energies and then you're left to react and take your actions in that world of reaction of all the negativity that you have got put in, or the trial and tribulation, or whatever the case, or a problem that was small that you get ready to make way more big. So you got to be careful of that too, because a lot of times y'all go through those situations and it take next week a few moons, 3 moons to happen for you to look back and say that you was tripping or whatever, or you overreacted. That's the key word, overreacted. So these are all just pockets to help people understand. You don't have to be in these situations if you are understanding this predication. You know what I'm saying? And this is how you be a predicate in the spiritual world. You're on the right train, in the right, not no jail cell. You're on the right train, getting raised by God armies and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But if you make Libra look like Pisces the best way you can, regardless, it's going to be more frustrating than others. Like I just broke down the alignments of the stars may not align for everybody. You might be squared up, you might be opposed up, but for the most part, y'all get the point. But regardless, and some people got more energy on the positive side of the universe than others, but it could still go all bad, just like people whose stars ain't aligning during this particular time. Because let's say it's conjuncting you right now, especially that one, or it's trining, or a sextile opportunity where your element that's very different, but it's just on the side that it could be an add-on, not a collision or a frustration based upon a separate element or whatever, right? You could have some favorable energies, but then if you're not checking yourself, like I explained, being a master orator, so go back to the earlier live stream, and you're not doing that inner checking yourself, you'll go overboard. Then you would think that joke was funnier than it was, or you would think the job was done better than whatever the small portion of validation that you received, or however the case may be. And then once you start to act on those qualities, you end up meeting the same type of fork in the road as someone who's experiencing the stars not aligning at the moment. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why always check yourself, because just you might be even into these qualities already, astrology and astronomy and stuff like that, and be like, oh, it's my time of the month, or it's my time of the year, or whatever the case may be. And just those qualities itself will lead you down the same bad alley, as there's always a dichotomy to stuff when you have to look at equilibrium from a spiritual perspective, not that physical version of it. But part B, it'll always be those times you start to take your esoteric currency and crash out. You become a gambler. So you gamble all your esoteric currency that you just won, or that you just in favor of, or you just inherited, all the way to the point that it don't always have to be physical. You know, when it's around your birthday, other people have you on their mind, right? That's esoteric currency, or whatever the case may be. All the way to the point that that thought can bend in to become motivation and adrenaline to get up, and even if they broke, scrape up some change and get you a present, or whatever the case. But at the same time, that's it. That's how it play out before you look at this like, oh, maybe the pseudo or whatever. No, these are daily interactions that we have. You just have to know how to look at each instant, and you're taking back charge of life. And now you're on that process of, it ain't what you think, it's how you think. And you know that even being in that pocket, damn, you gonna be around other people who ain't had that thought form. So you know you in some type of pocket where, oh, you in some cold ass way of how to think. You know what I'm saying? So you know you're a little closer to God, and you know you ain't gotta waste your time trying to explain to other individuals how God looked or what, because it's a voice without no. You can hear something without no voice. You can see something without no vision. And you should let it just go as far as that. If somebody around you try to make it go further than that, they either a scammer, they either retarded, they either trying to use that knowledge for something that ain't got nothing to do with God in the first place, and things of that nature, or whatever the case may be, or is just somebody who is degenerate. And they don't want to learn nothing anyway. They just want you to say something so they can challenge you. They want to wait and hear what you said so they can challenge you or whatever like that. That's pretty much it. I'm saying, got nothing to do with nothing. Or somebody try to cosplay it. You know what I'm saying? They just want to hear it. And a lot of times y'all be in relationships where you sit around and tell somebody your wildest dreams or whatever like that. They come cosplaying and playing out on you and stuff like that. And little do you know, she didn't have about 10 dicks in her mouth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Her homie done been in like 10 goddamn female melted tacos or however. You know what I'm saying? However, y'all got to be careful though. Y'all be trusting people way too fast. Way too fast. Well, I'm saying y'all be having a big game. Y'all don't be peeping game. But right now, this is the time not to be in no delusion, because that misunderstanding is going to play out as a delusion, because our dreams and our imaginations could go two routes, either appearing to be creative or appearing to look like a delusion. And then for the most part,
the world that we in is in Libra. So we're going to feel more comfortable trying to communicate, trying to intellectualize our feelings or intellectualize what we think someone else feel and try to come into some even ground. Even if we on bad terms with someone, we're trying to gain some even ground on being sure about it and not being indecisive about it and things. And if you're going to go for it or whatever, or your creative endeavors, or however the case, for the most part, we in some situation of trying to see what's fair, what's balanced or whatever, or what's at odds or what's some injustice, or if there is some justice, can we communicate it? Can we create some fairness, or can we create some friendly conversation, or can we get artistic or however? Now it's going to be filtered through our dreams and our imagination. So for the most part, how we feel comfortable communicating or going about our relationships or how we relate, right? We can either be in a delusion, or it could be creative of how we going about it during this particular time. Now, if you got something externally that you're doing creative and you're putting that in that energy, then these things going to appear to be more relatable. Whatever that you're creatively invested in, it's going to appear to be more relatable and in sync because you spent time and you probably ain't distracted throughout things that you was planning out throughout your day. And you probably got this, and you probably got a lot of time to do your creativity. Therefore, your mind ain't on things that your mind gonna be creative anyway, just not creative on degenerate stuff. Your mind is going to be more expanded, and then you're going to allow yourself to be open. You're not using your own energy, even if the stars don't align, to have to do things to experience those unaligned situations. Then those minor petty frustrations is going to be catered towards your creativity that actually makes the creativity more fruitful, make you carve out another idea you ain't had previously because you're out of a comfort zone a little bit, yet you ain't getting extremely bothered to take that type of mental frustration extreme to make you think that you need to stop doing something. And then therefore, boom, you're able to have that energy pour in and give you something new to add on to your familiar current energy already of your own energy, right? And then that's how you not be having to play catch up and be moons behind. You're free, open to use the energy and the sun and the moon for where they're at currently, or however the case may be. And the moon changes faster. So once you're in that aspect, this is how you stay creatively fluid. And you never have writer's block, or you never have creator's block, or you're never in no situation where you lack an angle to attack something. Because a lot of times we all end up reaching those ruts or reaching those dry spots or whatever like that. But when you're spiritually inclined, you start understanding it ain't what we doing, it's how we doing. So you can always go back to a what and just switch to how, or however the case may be. This is how, for an example, let me make this simple, right? You could be an R&B singer. All you're doing is making 1,000 songs about females or whatever. So eventually the what is a female song, but how you did each song is with Soul Records or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? So once you always stay in that pocket, that keep you creatively fluid, because you understand, oh, I'm attacking something at different angles. So when I find something new creative, that's something that's just a new angle in general that people with their own individual angles can attack. And then when that get dry, I could go to some energy, whether it's old and outdated or some unfulfilled energy already, and just attack it at another angle. AKA, once my spirit faces it, where attention go, energy flows. I give it some esoteric currency. So thoughts and feelings, your attention, you gave it life. That's the fourth and the sixth dimension. So you just gave something life again. If you ain't in the process of giving something birth and life and having other people give life to it, you give something that ain't dead yet, but it's still there. It's just other people, you want to get fulfilled again. Once you got a video game that you wanted and you already beat it, you want to get fulfilled somewhere else. So it's like that kind of quality. You know what I'm saying? And then once you get in that dry spot, you have to make something else fulfilling or whatever the case may be. Give it life. Plant some more fruit in that area. Plant some more tomatoes in that area or whatever the case may be. Because the tomatoes, you got enough. But eventually, the new fruit that you're growing, you got to wait to grow a little bit, or wait till you find some new seeds. So in the meantime, and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? Once you go buffer up the tomatoes or buffer up, and that's how you're supposed to play it out. But when we start to talk about just spiritually traveling and stuff like that, and how you get your circumstances together, right? Just counterpartmentalize, and everything is in the mind. So once you understand, you separate, you the spirit, you the observer, you making your first body. Your thought is you putting together something. You even say that. You like, I'm putting together something. Everybody even say that, I'm putting together. You know what I'm saying? But look at it like that's for real. So you will start to know when you're not putting together something in sync with that thought pattern, not to hold on to it in those scenarios that already start to bend down into the physical situations. Now you're left to react to situations, and now you have to act on think in that world of reaction. Now you ain't got no time to add on and think about others. You know what I'm saying? Now you just got to take what you already got, and hopefully you're defending yourself mentally and physically when it comes to those situations that we don't want to feel vulnerable in, or we feel like we're making, or we feel naked. Because that's when you feel naked, when you start to not have a know-how. That's the only time you feel naked. Oh, I don't know how to do this, or this is a new experience, or this is unfamiliar. Those are those pockets where if you was in a comfort zone too long, you may not know how to spiritually react and respond when you start to meet those new situations. But your spirit created that situation along with others for it to be that scenario. Your spirit always wants to expand out of something once it's in something too long, because it's there with that fulfillment energy again. Once you're in a pocket and it's familiar, you might be in certain pockets, and then in the mind, and then it played out in the physical world that it just so happens that the way Walt Disney taught us, that idea got you in some type of actions that you got, that had you obtain something that we all want in the physical. So that might throw you off sometimes if you're doing the right thing or not. Ooh, I gotta loosen this up. So for the most part, ooh, there you go. Ooh, pardon me, y'all. Your spirit to get drained doing something that you think you should be doing, and everybody else respect it. Then you might say things like, something telling me to slow down, or something telling me I don't want to do it right now. But you might not know that's what's actually going on. Your spirit start playing tit for tat with yourself. You start interacting funky, less motivated. In your mind, these other justified reasons make it appear to be justified for why you're acting the way you're acting, yet you're going to have people around you questioning you. What's happening? What's going on? Because they're still looking at it through the filtering system also. The thing that you do got you this thing I want, or got you this thing. Why? And then for the most part, that's when you start to realize you're getting closer to God. That physical fleshly fluid isn't the means, and what really got you these things was the means. And getting back into that spiritual sweet spot. And if a person find that, some people will drift off so much in that spot. The physical things that they got from the previous spot that they was in, they'll get rid of it all, or not care, and not care about how people look at them by not trying to uphold it, and things of that nature. And that's when you're on some type of spiritual journey. Now, it doesn't always, here's where y'all get lost. This type of spiritual journey doesn't always deal with the physical for as far as money. It could be any type of thing or whatever. That was just an example. Everybody don't have those particular issues. These issues, anything external is rooted from something internal first. And the external thing is just a crutch. And then once we, in that familiar energy, we start using it as an ego or whatever the case may be. Until that get broken down, if we do that too far and get lost in it, it only represents us. For an example, right? Even if we're talking about the money thing, even if a person in a situation where they're separating from, they don't want to be the race car driver no more or something like that, and people are like, why you want to do that? It's making you a lot of money, or however the case may be, right? But see, the thing that they was in a space that got them the money, but then they in another space. And here's the thing, it might not have anything to do with the money. It's the things that they was doing, or the mind state that they was in, and they had to get out of that. And it just so happens that a lot of those came with what you might be looking at from a distance, like, why this person's slowing up? Why they don't want to make money no more, or whatever the case may be. So it don't be the things, it be the things, and what these things motivate. And then a person might feel like they have a problem with that much money, and these things is personal. So you're not going to know Ricky Bobby or whatever. I'm just using these as an example. You're not going to know that. But from a distance, you need to know something serious going on. F is that deep for someone to even have what Walt Disney taught us all to look like we're successful or comfortable, but to be crashing it out. You know what I'm saying? And there was one way last week or last month or last year, and they just start to switch up or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? It might be something that they're tired of doing, that the money give them access to, or it might be something that they left from a sweet spot that the money separated them from, or whatever the case. And you don't know that. You don't know how deeply it's affecting them or whatever. And you just lost into the external object and what it seems to represent or whatever the case may be. Until you in the same situation and have to wear the same boots or wear the same flip-flops or Jesus sandals. You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep that in mind. Give people grace. You don't know what people going through. And a lot of y'all be learning about that with these celebrities and stuff. All these celebrities you grew up on, actors, actresses, and stuff like that. And just to realize they was all nutcases and stuff. Like, oh, what's that? Like everybody on Epstein's Files. So I don't live all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight bottom, you know. But shout. You know, I listen to the mind of that Terry's moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel. And I'm here to carry out God duties and like responsibilities. Rector Swah, Hip, Ho, Dat, Yalla, Hoot. Massasoit, Mama That Toy. Woo! It's the real war cry. I don't know what Michael Jackson was talking about. You know, that's the real war cry. You know what I'm saying?